February 2015 saw Manchester host a variety of events under the banner of LGBT History Month, an initiative which stemmed from the Schools Out project, aiming to make schools a safe and supportive environment for lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgendered pupils and staff. We asked the organiser, Sue Sanders, why she feels it's important to have LGBT History Month.
History Month is a chance to celebrate and for us to discover who we are, because we haven't been taught our history. I mean, what's so exciting is people are flocking to this because they want to learn. They want to know what's gone down before. And people get very excited about Stonewall, which happened in the 60s in America. Well, we're just watching a play, which is about a Stonewall event in 1880 in Holme, down the road here. It gives us that concept of continuity. It gives that concept of community. It enables us to recognize we were here, we've always been here, we have the proof of it. And it gives us, I think, the courage and the inspiration to continue to work to enable everybody to feel that they can be safe and visible wherever they are.
Central to the programme of events, the first ever National LGBT History Festival brought together academics, politicians, gay rights activists and members of the community over a long weekend and across a number of venues. We were at the Lesbian and Gay Foundation for the opening keynote speeches.
I wanted to say right from the start that I'm really honored to present this research as the first Alan Horsfall Lecture. Now, in part because this work emphasizes the importance of the links between political activism and identity, a connection that was central to Alan's life and work. Now, normally both of these concepts aren't associated with the 1820s and the 1830s, right? Activism and political identity. But I hope by the end of my talk here today, I'll have shown you why that really should not be the case.
Wow. It's tremendous to be speaking and to be invited to participate at the first National LGBT History Festival. One of the things that Sue was asked, and I do wherever I travel, is asked to talk to schools. And the first thing that I do normally when I'm addressing students is talk about living history. What an amazing time we are in right now. Just amazing. Many LGBT leaders are discussing how current history will be written. So there's a debate going on right now, kind of quietly, although it's leaked out a little bit behind closed doors, from LGBT leaders of who's the Rosa Parks of the LGBT movement. I always say the fact of the matter is it's the everyday person who follows my uncle's message of living an open and out life. It is the young kid who's having a kitchen table conversation with their parents. That's to this day, regardless of how accepting an environment we create, is still uncomfortable. It is the ally in a schoolyard playground who stands up against xenophobia when someone from another country and another culture is being attacked. The LGBT movement did not get here by ourselves, and it was not one person. It is the individuals who live an open life. Now let me just take you, since I got some...
In an exclusive interview, Stuart Milk told us a little about the life of his uncle, American gay rights champion and political activist Harvey Milk, who was assassinated in 1978 and in whose name the Harvey Milk Foundation strives to bring equality to LGBTQ around the world.
Well, first of all, my uncle was more social than me. And with a lot more fun. So he would have had a blast in the village and thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. Whereas the history conference, he would have put on a different persona and absolutely been inspired by remembrance of our history and also some trajectory on where we need to go. You know, my uncle probably doesn't come across in much media as humble. But there was a humbleness to him, and I do think that he would be saying, when we do the Harvey Milk Day celebrations or even have a postage stamp, he probably would have liked that postage stamp to have a lot of people behind it who are really fueling the progress we're making. And I think he would have loved, for instance, that postage stamp, and we actually suggested it didn't work, to have pictures of just average, everyday people living their life openly behind him. So I think in many ways he'd be very proud of what we're doing, and he would be inspired by our global legacy. In terms of what we do in the States and what we do in terms of remembering him, I think he would always be telling us, remember all the people behind me.
In a break from his busy lecture schedule, we asked gay rights campaigner Peter Tatchell why he was involved in the History Festival.
It's really important that the LGBTI community knows its past. To understand where we've come from is tremendously important because it informs who we are, how we see ourselves, and of course gives us clues as to where we're going. So history is not something for academia, it's not something for the past, it's also for the present, to empower us with knowledge and understanding.
LGBT Question Time in the Town Hall gave audience members an opportunity to challenge their local council representatives and community leaders.
My question is, in the light of the open letter from Benedict Cumberbatch, Stephen Fry and others, will Manchester City Council give support to the request for pardons being granted to the 49,000 gay men prosecuted for merely being gay?
Thank you for that question. I think it's very timely, and it's great after the film coming out to see Stephen Fry and Benedict Cumberbatch get behind what's a really important campaign, I think, particularly in LGBT History Month, and at a time when it's important to educate younger members of the community of the fight that some of our older peers have championed along the way and how very much society has changed. I would support a pardon of all those that were convicted for being gay. I think there are a few slightly dull technical issues as to how that would actually be implemented, and I believe there's some people looking into the specifics as to how that would be, because it's my understanding that with the legislation there were some other people convicted of some not very nice things under similar legislation. So I think so long as there can be a way where people that were convicted for being gay, they can be pardoned, whilst making sure that the minute number of people that were convicted alongside that in terms of abuse and other things that they did do weren't pardoned. I think in principle it's a fantastic thing.
The Contact Theatre hosted the Queer Media Festival, featuring a number of discussions, plays and performance pieces.
I'm gay, Dad.
What?
I've always been gay, but I've been too scared to tell you, but I'm seeing somebody now, so I think you should know.
Are you telling me my only son is queer?
Gay, Dad.
Pack a bag.
What?
Push at the shoulders. Pack a bag! And get out of this house! I'm having none of that queer stuff going on here. Go on now before I do something I really regret.
The festival lineup included Mother's Ruin, an evening of performance and cabaret.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Mother's Ruin.
How could somebody love me? Well, what can you fit in your mouth?
Shh, please. Some of you may fall in love with me. It's natural.
Right, that wasn't quite the reaction I was hoping.
Shh, please. Literature, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the most romantic line in English history. Anastasia, I'm going to come in your mouth.
Mother's Ruin is a performance platform for LGBTQ artists in the Northwest and beyond. Been running for about 5 years at venues like Contact Theatre, the Royal Exchange, Manchester's Green Room and Islington Mill. We have a whole range of artists performing everything from drag and burlesque to comedy and spoken word and music and dance as well. We've got a contemporary dance performing tonight. We're really excited to have Justin Vivian Bond, supported by Nathan Carrera, performing tonight, and it's incredible to have a movie star on the bill, an international movie star no less, star of Short Bus and Kiki and Herb. It's really exciting.
She lays it on the line. She sees things like a work of art, like her house and her friends, like her man. She works from the heart. She lays it on the line. She sees things with a critic's eye, like a poet, like a judge, like herself. She weeds through the lines.
The Contact Theatre also hosted Queer Agenda, a news roundup broadcast from the TV studios of the University of Salford at Media City.
Hello and welcome to Queer Agenda.
The body of a man was pulled from the canal near Piccadilly on Thursday. This comes after shocking statistics revealed that more than 60 bodies were pulled from Manchester's canal in the past 6 years.
Some have suggested a gay serial killer may be to blame. This item on canal safety comes from LGBTv's reporter Les Gunn.
Now, earlier this year, social media was rife with suggestions that a serial killer targeting gay and bisexual men was on the loose in and around the canal in Manchester. The report from a professor in Birmingham has since been retracted. However, safety in and around the canal is still an issue. You can see the full version of this at our website, lgbtv.co.uk. The People's History Museum staged a guided exhibition and a number of performance pieces. We were there to capture the mood.
You come across this quite prudish society where they just don't seem to think that anything could possibly be going on.
After you're wasting water, after your eyes in slush, using the kind of language that makes the sergeant blush. Who wouldn't join the army? That's what we all inquire. Don't we pity the poor civilians sitting beside the fire? Oh, 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 it's a lovely war. Who wouldn't be a soldier, eh? Oh, it's a shame to take the pain. As soon as Ravalli is gone, we feel just as heavy as lead. But we never get up till the sergeant brings our breakfast up to bed.
Manchester has played an enormous part in the history of gay rights in this country, as was illustrated by a performance piece which crossed a number of days. A very Victorian scandal told the story of a raid of a fancy dress ball hosted for gay and transvestite men in 1880 and concluded with a recreation of the subsequent trial, an event seen by many as the UK's Stonewall.
Now retire, consult with my clerk, who will advise me as to the conclusion he has legally arrived at. All right.
With a month covering song, dance, political debate, lectures, live television broadcasts, exhibitions and presentations, History Month gave Manchester a forum to show the world not only what a diverse and inclusive community it has, but also the depth of the city's involvement in the historical and ongoing fight for equality.
So it's with great honor that I, as the president of the Harvey Milk Foundation and as a representative of the Board of Governors of the Harvey Milk Institute, do here, Sue, you have to get up at this point. I do hereby confer the title of Emeritus Professor on Sue Louise Sanders this 15th day of February in the year of our Lord. That had to be in there, sorry. 2015, Ambassador Nancy G. Brinker, Harvey Milk Institute Chair.
Oh.
I'm all teared up. It's incredible. I never got to university. I failed my 11 plus. I did get a teaching certificate, but I'm crap at exams. But I had the occasional ability to sort of network, and I'm no fool. You see Stuart Milk, you think, you'll find a way to get to him. And here we are, out and rather visible here today, in the National History Museum. And it seems kind of fitting that this is a place where what is celebrated is people's history. Not necessarily the biggies, the people who rise to the top, and we sometimes vote and sometimes they, get there. But no, it's the people. It's the everyday people. And I've been saying consistently, it's so important that we had this first festival conference in Manchester, a city that has been so profoundly supporting of the minorities. And as far as I know, the only city that has a plaque in their town hall celebrating the demonstration against Section 28. Stuart has been telling the story about the guy from Apple who said, it's only crazy people who can actually change the world. Well, we're all a bunch of crazies. We're all completely mad. We wouldn't do what we did if we weren't mad. I'm very grateful to every mad and crazy person who has made this weekend happen. Bless you all. Thank you for coming. And I think any minute now we're going to be serenaded. So I can't quite believe I'm holding this. I'm going to be a frigging professor.
Manchester's lesbian and gay chorus closed events with a rendition of Bread and Roses. You can see extended versions of some of our coverage at our website, lgbtv.co.uk.